They tried to bury you. They thought they had won. They laughed as you fell, as you crumbled, as you shattered into pieces. They never thought you would rise again. They never thought the one they called weak, the one they ignored, the one they cast aside, would be the one to take everything from them. But now here you stand, unshaken. The monster they feared now holds the crown. You see, they were never afraid of who you were. They were afraid of what you could become. They saw the fire in your eyes, the hunger in your soul, the storm that raged beneath your skin. And they did everything in their power to keep you down. They whispered behind your back. They shut doors in your face. They made you question yourself because they knew. They knew that if you ever realized your own power, if you ever stopped listening to their lies, if you ever embraced the darkness they forced upon you, nothing could stop you. So they broke you. They betrayed you. They left you with nothing but pain, scars, and silence. But what they didn't realize is that pain sharpens, scars remind, and silence teaches. Every night alone, every tear, every moment of suffering, it wasn't the end, it was the beginning. The darkness they threw you into didn't consume you, it transformed you. It stripped away every illusion, every weakness, every doubt. It left behind something they could never control, something they could never break again. It left behind a monster. And now they look up and see you standing above them. They see the fire they tried to extinguish burning brighter than ever. They see the power in your stance, the steel in your eyes, the unshakable force they never wanted to face. And they tremble, because they know they lost. They lost the moment they underestimated you, the moment they thought you were finished, the moment they walked away and believed they would never have to deal with you again. But they were wrong. This is your time now. The throne belongs to you. Not because it was given, not because it was handed over, but because you took it. Because you fought, you bled, you sacrificed, and you survived. No one stood beside you. No one lifted you up. You did this on your own. Every step forward was a battle. Every breath was a war. And yet, here you are, unstoppable. They whisper your name now, but it's not in mockery, it's in fear. They see you, and they know there's no going back. No more second chances. No more apologies. The one they feared has risen. The one they doubted has conquered. And the monster they created now holds the crown. They thought you would stay down. They thought you were finished, erased, forgotten. They buried you in doubt, smothered you in silence, and laughed as they walked away. They never thought for a second that the one they left behind would be the one standing at the top. But now look at you, unshaken, unbreakable, wearing the crown they swore would never be yours. They never feared your weakness. They feared your potential. They feared what would happen if you ever realized the power that was always inside you. They did everything in their reach to keep you small, to keep you blind, to keep you from becoming the nightmare they could never control. So they crushed you. They lied to you. They turned their backs when you needed them most. They left you stranded in the darkness, hoping you would never find your way out. You didn't die in that silence. You didn't crumble under the weight of their betrayal. You sharpened, you adapted, you evolved. Every sleepless night, every scar, every whisper of doubt that tried to break you, it all became fuel. You burned away the weakness they fed you. You became something else. Something stronger. Something they would live to regret. They don't recognize you now. The one they called nothing has become everything. The one they laughed at now walks with power in every step. They see the fire in your eyes, the unshakable force in your stance, and they realize they lost. Not just the fight, not just the throne, but control. Control over you. Control over your mind. Control over the monster they swore would never rise. And now, they're terrified because you don't just stand, you reign. You don't just survive, you dominate. Every word they spoke against you, every time they tried to silence you, every moment they believed you were finished. It all built the empire they never saw coming. You hold the crown now, not because it was given, not because they stepped aside, but because you took it. You ripped it from the hands of those who swore you would never have it. And now, they kneel. Now, they watch. Now they feel the weight of every sin they committed against you. But don't mistake this for a happy ending. They can feel it now. The shift in the air. The weight of your presence. The force they tried to erase is now the only thing they see. And it terrifies them. Because they know they had their chance. They had every opportunity to stand with you, to believe in you, to respect you. But they didn't. They mocked. They doubted. They turned away. And now they're choking on the consequences. You don't need their approval anymore. You don't crave their validation. Once upon a time, you begged for their recognition. You wanted them to see you, to acknowledge you, to understand your worth. But that version of you is dead. Buried in the grave they dug for you. And what rose in its place is something they can't ignore. You are the nightmare they created. The beast forged in betrayal. The storm that will never be silenced again. They underestimated the power of pain. They thought suffering would break you. They thought loneliness would destroy you. But all it did was strip away the illusions, burn away the weakness, and leave behind something untouchable. Now, when they look into your eyes, they see no hesitation, no doubt, no cracks in your armor. The fire that once flickered uncertainly now burns with a relentless fury. Because you've learned the truth, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to fight your battles. No one is going to hand you the life you deserve. You take it, you claim it, you build it with blood, sweat, and the fire of every betrayal that tried to keep you down. They feel your power now, and they realize too late. They should have feared you sooner, because you're not just back. You're unstoppable. They whisper behind closed doors, trying to understand how you survived, how you came back stronger, how the person they abandoned now stands above them. They try to make sense of it, but they never will. Because they don't understand the mind of someone who has lost everything and still refused to break. You don't think like them anymore. You don't hesitate. You don't question. You don't wait for permission. When you want something, you take it. When you see an obstacle, you crush it. When they try to stand in your way, you remind them, this is not their story anymore. It's yours. And now, they kneel. They watch in silence as you wear the crown they swore you'd never touch. They feel the weight of every mistake, every betrayal, every lie they fed you. And you don't forget. You don't forgive. You don't turn back. Because this is what they wanted, isn't it? They wanted you to suffer. They wanted you to fall. They wanted you to be nothing. And yet here you are, stronger, colder, sharper. A force they can't outrun. A power they can't unmake. The monster they feared now holds the throne, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. But this isn't about them anymore. This is about you. The war isn't over. The climb isn't finished. You didn't come this far just to prove a point. You didn't survive hell just to wear a crown, number. You're here for something more. You're here to build, to dominate, to rule in a way they never could. Because while they wasted their time tearing others down, you were learning how to rise. While they played their petty games, you were becoming something unstoppable. You don't just hold power, you are power. They still don't get it. They still don't understand the depth of what they've created. They think power is given. They think control is something inherited. They believe in the illusion that authority belongs only to those who were born into it. But you learned the truth. You were forced to learn it. That power is not given. It's taken. It's earned. It's carved out of nothing with blood, pain, and sheer will. You weren't handed anything. No favors, no shortcuts, no safety net. You crawled your way out of the abyss they left you in, bleeding, broken, but never beaten. Every step was a battle. Every breath was a war. And now, you stand where they swore you never would, while they watch from below, choking on their own regrets. You didn't just come back to prove them wrong. You didn't just rise to silence their doubts. You came back to take everything, to rip apart their illusions, to show them that real power doesn't need validation. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't beg to be acknowledged. It simply exists, and it dominates. They watch in silence now, but their minds are screaming. They see it in your eyes. The fire, the hunger, the ruthless, undeniable force of someone who has lost everything and survived. Someone who no longer fears pain, rejection, or isolation, because you've lived through worse. They see a storm that doesn't flinch, a monster that doesn't hesitate, and they realize there's nothing they can do to stop it. This is the part where they break. This is the part where the roles shift. Where the hunted becomes the hunter. Where the forgotten becomes unforgettable. Where the one they betrayed becomes the one who decides their fate. You don't need revenge. You don't need to destroy them. Because the truth is, they're already drowning in the consequences of their own actions. The real punishment, the real justice, the real is that they have to watch. Watch as you rise. Watch as you build. Watch as you walk through the very doors they tried to lock you out of. Watch as the world listens to the voice they tried to silence. They have to live with the reality that the person they mocked, ignored, and underestimated now holds the power they always wanted. And they can't do a damn thing about it. You don't look back. You don't slow down. Because you finally understood you were never meant to sit at their table. You were meant to build your own. You were never meant to play their game. You were meant to create something bigger, something greater, something they could never even imagine. And now you walk forward with nothing to lose and everything to conquer. They feel it now, the weight of their own mistakes, the consequences of their own actions. The storm they never saw coming, because they thought the game was rigged in their favor. They thought they could write you out of the story, erase you like you never mattered. But they didn't realize you weren't a name in their book. You were the whole damn fire that would burn it down. Every time they ignored you, every time they pushed you aside, they fueled something far beyond their control. They weren't killing you. They were sharpening you. They weren't breaking you. They were forging something unstoppable. And now, standing in the ruins of everything they built, they finally see it. You are not their pawn. You are not their victim. You are not their afterthought. You are the force they can't outrun. And now, every whisper is about you. Every conversation is haunted by your name. The same voices that once mocked you now speak in hushed tones, trying to understand how you survived. But they'll never get it. They'll never understand the hunger of someone who has lost everything and still refuses to break. You didn't just survive. You adapted. You learned how to thrive in the dark, how to move in silence, how to build yourself up while they wasted their time tearing others down. You discovered something they never did. Real power isn't loud. It doesn't beg to be seen. It doesn't demand attention. It moves with precision, with focus, with an unshakable force that no one sees coming until it's too late. And now, they're out of time. Now the crown they laughed about, the one they swore you'd never touch, it sits heavy in your hands, carved from the bones of every failure, every betrayal, every lesson they thought would destroy you. They don't laugh anymore. They don't doubt anymore. Because they know. They should have feared you sooner. But it's too late now. You walk through the spaces they swore you'd never enter. You take what was once unreachable. Not because it was given to you, but because you made it yours. Because every step, every wound, every sleepless night was another brick in the empire you built with your own hands. You don't need their permission. You don't need their approval. You are here because you earned it. And Now they watch. They watch as you rise higher than they ever thought possible. They watch as everything they once controlled crumbles in front of them, and the worst part, you don't even acknowledge them anymore, because they are nothing now. Shadows in your past, people who existed only to teach you what not to be. And you move forward, unstoppable, unshaken, with nothing left to prove and everything left to claim. This is just the beginning. The throne isn't just yours to sit on, it's yours to redefine, because you are not just the king, you are the storm, and no one will ever forget it.